Have you ever wanted a second chance at something in life? Well, that's exactly what happens to the protagonist in the novel By the Book by Julia Sonneborn. By the Book is a novel published in 2018 by Gallery Books, which is a subsidiary of Simon & Schuster, and on Amazon it has 4 stars. On Goodreads it only has 3.5. By the way, I meant to mention this while filming, but somehow it got edited out. I listened to this book on Audibles, and the narrator was Amy McFadden. Personally, for me, I gave it 4 stars on Goodread, and I'm going to tell you why. So, spoiler alert a little bit. This novel is based on the novel Persuasion by Jane Austen, and so the plot is pretty much the same as far as, kind of what happens. So if you've read Persuasion, you kind of already know what happens. Okay. If you're not a Janeite, if you have not read Jane Austen's Persuasion, do not worry. I think you'll still enjoy the book. If you kind of like a chick lit, but not a 20-year-old chick lit, more like a 30-something-year-old protagonist chick lit, then I think you would also enjoy this. So let's talk about the characters first. Of course, we have the protagonist, Anne Corey. She is an English professor. Yay! So she's an English professor. She's in her early 30s, and she is trying to work her way up the tenure ladder, and that means publish or perish. She works at a small liberal arts college in California, not a teaching college. Okay, teaching colleges, FYI, are different. They don't pressure you into publishing quite as much as a regular university will. So anyway, she has got to get a book published. She's working on her manuscript, but she keeps getting rejection letters. I can totally relate. So anyway, but for her, she needs this book published, and not just because she wants it published and wants to be a published author, but she wants to keep her job, and she wants to earn tenure. So Anne Corey is the protagonist, and of course we have a love interest. His name is Adam Martinez, and he shows up pretty early in the novel as her boss. He is the new president of the college where she works, and he is somebody from her past. Back when she was a college student, she was almost married to this man. They had a relationship back then when they were in their 20s, and for various reasons she was persuaded not to marry him. That's basically what happens in the Jane Austen novel as well. So at the beginning of the novel, here comes Adam Martinez. 10 plus years later, he meets up with her, and of course, as you can imagine, this creates a lot of tension. She's already under a lot of pressure because she's got to get that book published, and now here he is, and she realizes she still has feelings for him. He's the one that got away, but she's not sure what he thinks of her, and of course, they don't talk about it right away when they first meet. In fact, when they first meet, she thinks he doesn't even recognize her. So my first pro of this novel is that it stands alone. Even if you are not a Jane Austen fan and you never read Persuasion, you don't need to in order to enjoy this novel. She did justice to Persuasion. That's how I feel. Like she did something that can stand on its own, but at the same time does give a nod to Austen's work in a good way. The other pro has to do with characterization. The characters are very believable. They engage you. It is definitely a character-driven novel, which tends to be what I prefer personally. The protagonist, Anne Corey, gives us a first-person account of what's happening, but we still, get a good feel for all the other characters. And I did feel like they do engage you with the reading, or in my case, the listening. As far as the setting goes, again, I felt it was very believable. I am a college professor as well, though I'm at a teaching college, not a small liberal arts college, but from my understanding, that the feeling I got, the setting, the time period, her situation, all of it seemed very believable to me, not out of the realm of possibility at all. And basically it rings true to me, the pressures that a typical college professor, especially somebody who has not received tenure yet, or in these days, even if you don't have, most places don't give tenure anymore, but even if you don't have tenure at that full-time position, a lot of colleges want to string you along part-time forever. And she actually talks a little bit about her nomad existence before finding this full-time position at this particular college. So all of that really felt realistic to me. The administrators that she pops in there also, I was like, wow, I kind of recognize some of those people. And then finally, the biggie for me, because of course I know the plot, I know what's going to happen, there was still enough going on that there were surprises for me, and I really appreciated that it wasn't just, she didn't try to make it so connected to the plot of Austen's work that there was no surprises. There were still plenty of surprises, and I liked that. So it still made me want to keep listening to it. So my cons have to do with the subplot, that I had a hard time figuring out really what the point of all of it was. Yes, my cat is talking to me. So I wasn't sure what the point of it was, Coco. Okay. Anne has a BFF who is also a professor at the college. In fact, he is the person who helped her get the job in the first place, and they have quite a long history with each other. He ends up having an affair with somebody she knows from college, a man she knows from college, and she also knows this man's wife. And so there's this big, long subplot of this guy having an affair with this other guy who's married, and I'm not really sure what the point of all of that was. And as someone who is familiar with the original novel Persuasion, I kept trying to, well, maybe she is aligning it with a subplot from the Austen novel, but maybe I missed it. I mean, in fact, if you've read the book and you see that there's some sort of subplot alignment there, let me know in the comments, because it kind of just went over my head. But yeah, so that whole thing, I didn't really see what it brought to the novel in the first place, and then at the end, things sort of just were quickly wrapped up, so I felt like it wasn't quite finished. But that's really the only con I have of the novel. So overall, obviously I told you I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads. I'm also probably biased because I'm a huge Jane Austen fan and I am an English professor at a college. So yeah, massive bias, being transparent here. But I do feel like if you typically enjoy novels where there's a strong female character who maybe has some sort of relationship dilemma and career issues, you know, there's lots of them that fit into that category, then you would enjoy this novel. If you have read this novel, or if you've read the Jane Austen version Persuasion, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. Please give this a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I'm really trying to build this little channel of mine over here, and I look forward to telling you more about what's on my bookshelf. Bye-bye.